One of the things we were really hoping to do before we come to the end of our time together is to spend some time considering our why, our reason behind wanting to evaluate ourselves, evaluate our programs, evaluate the work that we do. And I think Stephen made a really strong case about our reasoning and our motivations being really key to doing our best work, and also making sure that our work is culturally responsive and relevant to the people that we serve. So I think we can all agree that understanding our why is really important. And so we are going to go into small breakout room discussions in which we are going to try to unpack our own personal motivations for why we want to evaluate. And that goes into why we are here in these sessions, learning about evaluation practices. So in that process of unpacking our why, we also want to look at our values, because their values are the lens with which we see the world. And unless we are explicit about them, they can end up being blind spots for us. But if we are really clear about our values and our reasoning, they can really be an inspiring motivator and can help give us clarity instead of obscuring the destination. But it's all about the work that we do in this moment before we begin with understanding our why. What I'd love to do is have us go into small breakout rooms where we can discuss these two questions: why you want to evaluate, and what do you think are some of the values that you're bringing to this process? Thank you for joining us. I want to acknowledge that we don't have a lot more time left together today before we reach the end of our period. And rather than taking time for all of these breakout rooms and teams to report out on their why and their values, as important as that conversation is, we feel like it's an ongoing conversation. And it's not something that we can settle on in a 10-minute conversation with your colleagues in this session. So that leads me to our hope for some learning extension activities for you all to work with before we see each other again in our next workshop. Basically, those same two questions, the reason, the big why, and the values, the lens that guides your evaluation. These two questions are going to be something that we suggest you take back to your team, and you have some in-depth, meaty conversations about these two topics over the next month. We would like you to puzzle over them, think about them as you're getting ready for bed, dream about them, get up the next morning, talk to your coworkers at the coffee maker about how they see our why for evaluating and the values that guide our evaluation. Our hope is that even though we won't debrief right now, our hope is that we'll come to a better understanding of what those two things mean to us by the time we meet again, and we'll have a little bit more time with them in workshop session 2.
Thank you very much for being here. I have listed all of our email addresses here. You're welcome to reach out to any or all of us with any questions related to the series. We really appreciate you joining. We'll hopefully see you all next month or before then if we're lucky.